Denmark. You can catch me on Twitter at the Twitter handle right there at the bottom at Dylan_Denmark with a Gator victory over the Tennessee Volunteers. So the final score was 38-14. It looked like it was going to be a little bit of a game. Good Lord, I can't talk right now. A little bit of a game in the first half. But Tennessee outplayed them in the first half, but Florida still held the lead 17-14. And as always, guys, please bring your comments, questions, anything surrounding the Florida Gators and what happened tonight. As we're live right now at the Voice of College Football at the Gator channel and also the SEC channel. Make sure we're subscribing to both channels. Thank you guys for always watching. We're about 13,000 subscribers on the SEC channel, trying to get our Gator page up to around 1,000 subscribers. So let's make sure we're doing that and make sure we are liking the page as I'm trying to wait for a couple more minutes before we get the show rolling. But I thought Florida played pretty well. There were obviously a couple of things I wish Florida would have done a little bit differently. Defensively, the secondary is still a huge question mark. It's huge. There was a couple open field missed tackles they had on the screenplay where Tennessee scored that first touchdown. The second one was a busted coverage. No Kyer Elam, obviously no Ventrell Miller, as he's not expected to play for the rest of the season with a bicep injury. But Florida, other than those two big plays, played particularly well. And Tennessee, statistically, understanding that they played Bowling Green, another Cupcake, and Pitt, had one of the best run defenses in the league. And Florida ended the game with almost 300 rushing yards, and Emory Jones had about 150, the highest he's had since in his career. So that was a good thing. But Florida's continued to do what they do, come out, play well. Obviously, take out the Alabama game, but if you look at Florida's three teams they've played, they've had better talent than USF, FAU, and now Tennessee. They come out, first drive, go right down the field. Obviously, they didn't get USF, but every other drive after that, Florida played well in the first half. And then, but Florida's played really, really well. Offensively, running the ball, offensive lines played really well. Malik Davis has been the main ball carrier for Florida at running back. I want to get more into this as we go on with the show, but I don't understand why Dameon Pierce isn't getting more touches. Naquan Wright's getting in the mix as well, but I wish the ball was given more to Dameon Pierce. He seems more of a better runner, as not to take away from what Malik Davis, but I wish Dameon Pierce would get the ball more. And then Copeland, he played particularly well. Him and Xavier Henderson. As I see a lot of you guys' comments already moving forward to the Florida-Georgia game. Guys, there's a lot of ball to be played before we get to Halloween, late October, early November between Florida and Georgia. As we've seen a lot of upsets so far in college football. As if you're just joining us, this is the Gators Final Report. I am Dylan Denmark. You can catch me at Dylan_Denmark on Twitter. You can catch all my content there. My podcast on the Mark with Denmark, as I've tried to get you some guys content this week. I've posted a part of the Terry Norvell interview I did on the SEC channel. I meant to post on the Gator channel, but last week I've talked to Pat Dooley, Shane Matthews, as we have a preview of the Alabama game last week, and I'd like to continue to do that again coming up this next week. Let's see. A couple of you guys are still hopping in, so let's get to it. Florida pretty much outplayed Tennessee throughout the game. Florida had more first downs. Total yards, again, reached 505 yards. I saw the stat late in the game. Dan Mullins had 14 games with 500 yards, and it hasn't been anywhere close in the previous 10 years, pretty much after Urban Meyer left. Rushing yards, Florida outrushed Tennessee 283 to 148. Penalties, Tennessee could not get out of their way with penalties. They had 85 yards to Florida's 43. Florida turned it over once on that Copeland fumble right before the end of the first half, and time of possession was dominated by Florida again, 35 minutes to Tennessee's I think it was 25. This is 23 right here, but Tennessee got the final minute. But Florida played really, really well. Obviously ran the ball effectively. Emory Jones had a career high in rushing yards, right at 150, I think it was. Let me pull up his final stat. I know it was at 140 at one point in time. He threw for 209, ran for 144 on 15 carries. His longest rush was 49 yards. Pierce had 62, Davis had 45, and Naquan Wright had 32 rushing yards. The leading receiver was Justin Shorter with 54. And then Rick Wells, who got a touchdown, second touchdown in his career. The first one came against FAU. 4 catches for 39 yards. Copeland had 32. Henderson had 36. Gamble had 29. So that was good for Florida to spread the ball around and continue using the tight end. Something they didn't do the first 2 games. They did against Alabama, and getting Copeland involved as well. As guys, if you're just not hopping in, this is the Gators final report at the Voice of College Football. We're live at the Gator channel and the SEC channel. If you guys are still hopping in, drop any questions or comments you got on the Gator page. I know there's a lot of comments on the Gator on the Florida-Georgia game, which is still 6 to 7 weeks away. But there's still a lot of football to be played between now and then. Florida plays Kentucky next week, and then they play Vandy at home before they take a month break from the swamp. But I'm just trying to see a couple of your guys' comments. But Emory Jones played really, really well. I'm not a person to ticky-tack. Anthony Richardson didn't play. I didn't expect him to play, even though Dan Mullen said I think he said during the week that he's getting healthier. With a hamstring injury, you're not, especially with the asset Anthony Richardson is, I don't expect him to play probably next week. He might get 1 game in before Georgia. The biggest thing for Florida right now is hoping he's 100% healthy for that Georgia game. But obviously, there's a lot of football we played before then. But I didn't expect him to play. I know some people expected him to play off of Dan Mullen's comments, but I didn't think he was going to play. Emory Jones was going to get most of the snaps, and then you feather in a lot of the running backs. But let's see here. Florida started the game, went right down the field with a touchdown pretty easily with 66-yard drive, and then they let it up with a field goal. It was a 45-yard drive, and then they went punt, touchdown, and that third touchdown was from, I think, Naquan Wright. But Florida seems like the first 2 games, FAU, USF, they get out to a good start, and then they get to this part where they kind of sputter, whether it be a turnover, whether it be a 3-and-out and a punt. And again, too, I think Dan Mullen kind of knows that he can fill out his opponent, and then you saw what they did. Florida ran the ball a lot, and then what did they do the second half? They didn't ever throw over the top at all in the first half. What did they do? They went right over the top. They went to Copeland. They went to trying to think they went 2 deep plays. Let's see. One was a shorter, one was to Gamble, and then they did the double pass with Whittemore to Gamble, which was pretty cool to see. I think that was same play that Dan Mullen pulled out against Mississippi State when Kadarius Toney threw the ball. I forget who it was. In that game in his first season, 2018. But Florida went straight in the second half, dominated the third quarter, was 17-14. They quickly made it 31-14. Florida, the biggest thing, they covered the spread. Florida, it was 38-14. The spread was like right around 20 from what the last check I had. The final score was obviously 38-14, so they covered with 24. As you all know, if you're a betting man or a woman, good teams win and great teams cover. And Tennessee was throwing the ball in the end zone to not get the spread. And Florida was only covered spread once against Alabama, which was last week. They didn't cover spread at all against USF or FAU. Guys, continue to drop your comments.